And what was it like for you when you picked up the guitar?
Very difficult. I'm very natural musically, but not on an instrument. I had to work really, really hard. And here's just a little insight into the way I perceive things, my brain muscles. I see music, you know what I mean? I hear music in my head, and we all do, composers do. I mean, that's how you create music. But I instinctively, immediately, intuitively understand how to get it out into the world, how to make it real. It's just a process for me. There's no experimenting. I get it immediately and I know how to do it. When it comes to playing an instrument, I have very, very little natural talent. I had to work really, really hard on the guitar, and I didn't sound good for years.
So what is really hard in hours a day?
Sorry?
You say, well, you had to practice really hard?
I practiced 15 hours a day sometimes. If I didn't practice 9 hours, I was depressed, every day, and that was the starting point, and then anything after that was good. Because I wasn't natural, but I loved it. And the biggest thrill for me, and today it's still the biggest thrill, is not being able to play something and then working on it, and then all of a sudden being able to play it. That's my juice. And as far as writing music, you'd be surprised to know that I don't play any other instrument. I can't play the piano. I cannot go up to a piano and play a song. But I can compose something for the most accomplished pianist in the world that sounds like a breathtaking virtuosic piece, because I see it in my head. And that's not an uncommon thing for a composer, to not know how to play instruments, but to understand how they work and how to write something for somebody who does know how to play it.
But can you say that you really have a talent then for composing instead of playing the guitar? Playing the guitar, you had to work really hard.
Yeah.
Did you have to work composing?
No. From the moment I understood, from the moment it was, I realized that I understood music, there's never been any kind of governor. There was never a challenge in the idea. There is things that I wish that I can do better as a composer. Like, I know guys that they hear, they have perfect pitch, say. I don't have perfect pitch, I have very good relative pitch. But there's some conductors who can look at a transposed score and know what it sounds like. If I look at a score, I have to, look at it pretty carefully and imagine, what it's going to sound like. If I'm looking at just a piece of music, I can read it in my head and kind of understand what it sounds like. But there's guys that can read whole scores without hearing it. I can't do that. I wish I could do that. That'd be fun. And I probably could if I worked on it, but it's one of those things I haven't worked on. But what I feel like I'm strong at is the ability to have a musical idea and then know how to create a document or a recording that can express that idea.
You said that you had to teach Dweezil some guitar. Yeah. Is it true that Joe Satriani taught you the guitar?
Yeah, absolutely. Joe was maybe 4 years older than me, and we grew up in the same town. We went to the same school.
But how come the both of you made it really big? How come?
You'll have to ask God. I have no idea myself. It's phenomenal. I mean, we look at each other, we go, is this really happening? Yeah, really happened.
And what was he thinking about your, guitar playing the first few weeks when he had to teach you?
Well, he might have thought I was a musical idiot because I didn't even know how to put the strings on the guitar.
Okay.
I didn't know anything. I mean, I was able to, I was chopping away at stuff, yeah, but I didn't really understand how to tune it. I didn't, you know what I mean? It's just whatever the tuning turned into, that's what I just played, and I just played melodies and stuff. I had no really good technique or anything, and Joe was always great. I don't ever remember him not being great. And I was, I think, 12 or 13 when I started lessons, and I was very shy about playing the guitar. And I actually started with a friend of mine. We had to take lessons together for a little while because I couldn't even afford, you know, the $5 or whatever it was. But Joe was remarkable because every time he touched the instrument, it sounded like music came out of it. Even when he was showing me a scale or an exercise. And, you know, in our town, he was very well known as a great guitar player. I mean, even when you're 15 and you can play,
Yeah.
there's not a lot, you know, of 15-year-olds that could play. And he was much better than, much more accomplished at that time than anybody else that we knew. I would just marvel at how great he was. I'd scratch my head and I'd think, I really love Jimmy Page and Jeff Beck and Jimi Hendrix, but they're not as good as Joe. And you know, my 13-year-old mind, why isn't he as famous as these guys? Well, you know, now you know, surprise, surprise.